In the twilight of the galaxy, there exists a race that defies all understanding, a species born not from the deliberate hand of evolution, but from the brutal, unyielding force of war itself. They call themselves Orks. Orks are not born in the manner of other creatures. They are a living synthesis, where beast and fungus entwine. The animal within them, the creature of muscle and bone, breathes and rages in harmony with the fungal network that infuses its very essence, each part complementing the other to forge a being of formidable endurance. As Orks age, they do not merely grow old, they grow large. This growth is not merely a matter of time, but a reflection of power. For in Ork society, size is synonymous with authority. The larger the Ork, the greater its dominion, and thus, the war boss rule with an iron grip. The biology of these creatures is a marvel. Their skin, green as the deepest forests, is capable of photosynthesis, drawing strength from light itself. Their organs and marrow, formed from resilient fungus, render them astonishingly durable, nearly impervious to wounds that would fell other beings. Heads, severed in the fury of battle, can be reattached, and the Ork will rise again. They are also born with an innate knowledge, a gift of their fungal nature, which allows them to perform any task without instruction, whether it be the wielding of a blade or the forging of crude but effective machinery. But the most fascinating aspect of Ork physiology is the phenomenon known as the warg. It is not simply a war cry or a rallying call, though it serves as both. The warg is a psychic field, an invisible force that binds all Orks together, a collective will that grows in power as they revel in the chaos of battle. When enough Orks gather, their combined warg becomes a force of nature, capable of bending reality to their will and driving them into the great war marches. Ork society is a brutal hierarchy, shaped by their very biology. Engineered for war, Orks are naturally divided into castes, with the largest and most ferocious at the top. The Ork hierarchy is brutally simple. Might makes right. The largest and most powerful Orks rule with their authority unquestioned, save by those bold enough to challenge them. The only exception to this rule is the Odd Boys, specialist Orks born with the innate knowledge of specific fields, from medicine to mechanics. These Odd Boys are essential to the functioning of Ork society, their skills making them indispensable to their war bosses. The backbone of their society is the tribe, a sprawling collection of warbands under the rule of a war boss. Orks are further divided by clans, each representing a distinct aspect of Orkish nature. Clan affiliation may even be partly genetic, with physical traits often distinguishing members. The major clans include the wealthy Bad Moons, the cunning Blood Axes, and the vehicle-obsessed Evil Sons, among others. Inter-clan rivalry is fierce, but clan loyalty always comes second to the authority of the war boss. Beyond the clans, some Orks reject all affiliations, forming independent hordes. These include the spacefaring freebooters, the speed-crazed cult of speed, and the beast-hunting beast snaggers. These groups are defined by their obsessions, whether it be stealth, explosives, or close combat. Orks come in many forms, each suited to a different role on the battlefield, from the standard boys, who form the bulk of Ork armies, to the heavily armored knobs and the stealthy commandos. Each type of Ork embodies a different aspect of their brutal nature. Specialized units, like the tank busters, who excel at destroying vehicles, and the looters, who scavenge the battlefield for weapons, ensure that every aspect of war is covered by the Ork horde. Ork culture revolves entirely around conflict. Orks live for battle, constantly seeking stronger foes, though they prefer enemies with flesh over machines. The more an Ork fights, the larger he becomes, with his size reflecting his status among his peers. Ork currency is as brutal and practical as the creatures themselves. Teeth, or teeth, serve as their money, a natural, renewable resource that ensures a constant flow of wealth among them. Since teeth degrade over time, hoarding is impossible, keeping the Ork economy in a state of perpetual flux. A single tooth might buy a meal, while a bagful could secure a war machine, maintaining the Ork's ever-present drive for conquest. The Ork language is a crude, guttural tongue, full of dialects and loanwords from other species. Writing is rare among Orks, who prefer to communicate through symbols and glyphs. Their spoken language, though primitive, is perfectly suited to their needs, filled with the raw aggression and simplicity that characterizes their culture. Ork technology is a chaotic blend of genius and madness, characterized by constant experimentation and a disregard for uniformity. Mech boys, the engineers of Ork society, craft war machines and weapons with an instinctive understanding of mechanics. often producing devices that work only because the Orks believe they should. Orks also have the means to engage in faster-than-light travel. While bearing some semblance to the Imperial warp drive, theirs is a grotesque parody of human ingenuity. These warp engines are often cobbled together from the twisted remnants of captured Imperial ships, their delicate mechanisms crudely reforged by Ork hands. In some cases, these engines are even more bizarre, crafted around the pulsing, disembodied brains of weird boys. The Orks, in their brutish exuberance, have become the galaxy's unrelenting tempest, a force neither calculated nor contained. Their presence is like a plague, spreading not with the insidious stealth of disease, but with the raucous laughter of a carnival run amok. Worlds that once knew peace now echo with the clamour of their savage joy, as the Orks reshape civilizations in their image, crude, chaotic, and impossibly resilient. They do not merely conquer, they infest, leaving behind a galaxy forever scarred by their insatiable hunger for war, and their belief that all existence is but a stage for their eternal warg.